Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. We're gonna get rock and rolling here soon. Just gonna drop these into the chat here and we'll get going. Turn this down a bit. All right, let's get rolling. Okay, hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. We're just gonna get cracking here. Got a couple of Beavis and Butthead issues that we're gonna be taking a look at. And then as well, I do have an issue of Ren and Stimpy just to kind of throw in here. Typically, I like to stream for about an hour or so. Today's gonna be a little shorter. As you can see, my hand is killing me. Got a little bit, I got injured yesterday. So I also gotta take a break from drawing, even though I draw with my right hand. Still spin my page around a lot with my left hand. This finger is like dead. I got bit by a dog yesterday, so pretty deep, nasty cut. Fingers completely swollen, black and blue, and it hurts like pretty bad. So I'm gonna give it a day to rest probably. But yeah, we got issues 16, 22, and 23, and then the Ren and Stimpy is 41. Typically, I like to keep the Ren and Stimpy stuff, separate from the Beavis and Butthead stuff, but nonetheless, this is what we're going to be doing. Again, just to kind of throw in another issue to, I guess, keep the stream a little longer. But we're going to shorten it just a hair. We'll probably go until 11, 11:15, so we'll be for half hour, 45 minutes or so, about 10 minutes or so per issue. Before we get cracking, if you are working on pages for me for the second anthology, the deadline is Tuesday, so today and tomorrow are going to be your two last days to get those out to me. Some people have reached out and have asked, like, hey, I have like 7 pages, is that fine to turn in? Just kind of repurposing stuff, and that's perfectly fine as long as it's black and white. Really, the stipulations were just 2 to 6 pages. Really, the length didn't really matter to me. It was more just trying to put people into a box to kind of give them a scope or a guideline to kind of work towards. But if you went over that page count and it's a good comic, it's whatever. We'll throw it into the book and let's go. And then for myself, I'm still working on my creator-owned stuff. I mean, it's still super early in the process. I'm currently drawing it, but I'm really not gonna have much to say about it probably until the next couple of months here. Once we get toward the tail end of the summer, if not early into the fall, maybe I'll start talking about it a little more in depth once I have more, progress done on the book. But we shall see. So let's go ahead and pop in here and show off a couple of things, and then we'll get into the comics. All right, so first things first, as always, got the website here. I always put up a weekly blog, or a bi-weekly blog, I should say. I did post a new video this week. There's going to be a new video next week as well. And then I also am up on Webtoons, so the comic is up there. And then I'm going to slowly start producing stuff up on Webtoons. The issue is the kind of comics that I make really can't go on Webtoons. They give me pushback on the ones that I even put in, and all it was a guy doing a line of coke and somebody getting their head blown off, and like that was too much for them. And then in subsequent things that I'm going to be working on are going to be way worse than that. So they have guidelines and everything like that. I get it, to try to keep it like a kid-friendly platform, and you can mark it as like mature and everything like that, but they still don't want nudity and X, Y, and Z. So it's, even then, if it's a mature comic, it's not like an adult comic, if that makes sense. All right, so Sean here, Crystal, over at the INKPULP channel. INKPULP.tv is his website. Sean is, he's a good dude. He's a hell of an artist. Support everything that him and the INKPULP crew are doing here. I believe today is the last day for his Kickstarter, so if you haven't done so already, be sure to head over to his campaign and back it. Basically, is what he's doing is he is giving away, or he's doing a a book kind of about anti-AI. It's an art book. It's more of an instructional thing, talking about his tools, his process, and all that kind of stuff. As you can see, I did back into the hand-painted sketch card. I'm a big fan of Sean's, and I really look up to the guys, so that's kind of where I'm at. I haven't yet decided, because it's commission up to you with what you want it to be. Haven't yet decided with what I want to do, but I think I'm going to lean into his like hip hop hero type stuff and do like a Flavor Flav's Clockman, or like Shock G as the Shocker, you know, like that kind of thing, and see where that goes. The next Kickstarter that I wanted to take a look at here is Grant Lankard he's Pittsburgh cartoonist. He had done work in the first issue of the anthology that we had put out a couple months ago. Hell of a cartoonist, hell of a guy, and he's a kayfaber through and through. So you know, gotta support him. He's still got a little bit of time left on this. I think he's got like 2 weeks or so left. Yeah, he's got 15 days left, and just a little bit over halfway there. So if you guys haven't checked out Grant's stuff, everything is in the chat, so feel free to go ahead and click that and check out what he's going to be doing here. The reason why I haven't pledged on it yet is because I literally just found this yesterday, and Grant and I, you know, we've worked together in the past, and I had no idea that he was even doing this. I was scrolling on Kickstarter, just kind of look at random comics. I found this. I'm going to end up backing it, probably at the highest tier possible, just to help out the homie. And then, yeah, so go ahead and head over to Kickstarter and see what they got going there. Okay, let's go ahead and pound into these books here. All done with the housekeeping. Alright, so this is going to be Beavis and Butt-Head number 16. As always, we've got Rick Parker, Rob Camacho. I mean, they're pretty much the two combos that you really see on these comics. In terms of the team, a Led Zeppelin tribute album. Hootie and the Blowfish, Sheryl Crow, Duran Duran. There's like weird bands on here that you wouldn't suspect. Like you would think like Stone Temple Pilots, that makes sense. Duran Duran makes some sense to some extent. Rollins Band for sure. Blind Melon makes some sense, but Hootie and the Blowfish is like a weird band that you would think would have any crossover with Zeppelin. But that's interesting. I didn't know this was a thing. It looks like it was pretty much sanctioned too. It came out on Atlantic, and I'm fairly certain that's who Led Zeppelin had their record deal through, was Atlantic. So yeah, every time I look through these comics, I always talk about how much I love Rick Parker. I think that he has a very much of an underground style of look to his books, and his lettering is just top notch. Like I honestly don't think that there's many letterers that are better than him, because he has a lot of personality. There's two people that I point to every time that I talk about his lettering. It's going to be Rick Parker and Don Simpson. They have different lettering styles, but I think that they are similar to some extent, purely because they kind of come from that same schoolhouse of hand lettering and having that be a discipline, and they do it so much that it's kind of become second nature for them, and they have their own personalities going into it. I'm gonna shrink this down here just a hair. So I haven't read through these yet. I actually just picked up these issues over last weekend. These later issues of Beavis and Butt-Head are a pain in the ass to find. I think I have like 1 through 15, maybe 1 through like 18, because one of these issues is 17. I have those, and I think we've looked through like 1 through 12 so far, like in numerical order. But I had these kind of sitting out. I didn't want to plop my long boxes and do it that way. So this is kind of what we're going to be looking at today. Here they are clowning on some X Factor stuff. It's one of the funnier things about these comics, if you're familiar with the actual TV show. Beavis and Butthead of like the original MTV series. They kind of sit around and would clown on, you know, music videos and that sort of thing, and that's how they kind of got their gist into MTV. This is the same premise, but instead of clowning on music videos and bands, they're clowning on comics. And then they have all these funny interstitial things. What is this? I have no idea what the hell this even is. Ultraverse Comics. Weird. So is Marvel doing stuff with... I mean, obviously they were doing stuff with Malibu. Interesting. If this stuff even came out. I'm sure that it did, but I've never seen this stuff before. Huh. Very peculiar. Alright, looks like we've got some spin the bottle stuff going on here. They're fighting over who's gonna spin it. So funny. She calls him a fart knocker, and it's not the other way around. Man, is the lighting like that dark? No, it's just my laptop. And his cartooning is just incredible. Rick Parker he's so good. And I kind of wish that he broke out a little more independently outside of just doing the Marvel stuff. And I think that the Beavis and Butthead is like his claim to fame, and it shows off his personality the most out of everything that he's worked on. So I think that you have a lot more leeway with what you can get away with like a Beavis and Butthead comic. You can kind of lean more into that, obviously that underground style of art and subject matter, as opposed to when you're more deep into your, you know, normal Marvel / DC characters. You kind of have to play it by the Bible, and you can't rocket too many boats. All right, let's go ahead and pop into the next issue here. That was number 16, and honestly, that looked like a pretty decent issue. Like I said, I haven't read through these ones yet because they are new to my collection, but that looked like it was a pretty decent one. All right, so then we're rolling into Beavis and Butthead number 22. So we've got Guy Graham on writing. He's done a handful of the issues. Yeah, you see a couple of different people kind of touch it, but I'm assuming that we got. Yep, there's Rob again on color. Like I said, it's always like pretty much the same team. They'll do like these weird like interstitial like one-page stories and stuff like inside the books. Every once in a while, those will have different artists or colorists on them, but for the most part, it's always just Rick Parker. It's like this, man. It's just super crumb. Just like the texture and stuff that he gets on those faces. Very much underground. I love it, man. Oh, wow, Mallrats. Ad. A private screening party. You get to meet John Romita Sr. And they're doing it at the mall. That's funny. Yeah, dude, Rick Parker, his cartooning is just top notch. The coloring is fantastic as well. Yeah, this is one of those comic series that every time I look at it, it like kind of gets the juices going. Probably my favorite cartoon comic, I would say. I definitely like it more than the Ren and Stimpy stuff. But one of the things for Ren and Stimpy that I think has the edge over the Beavis and Butt-Head comics is the Ren and Stimpy stuff. Pretty much from issue to issue, they leaned into like a different art style, and they have different artists and writers and stuff that are kind of working on it throughout the series. But they will like intentionally make it like strictly a black and white comic, like it's a noir detective story, or they'll make it like a crazy pop art, like a Andy Warhol painting, you know, that sort of thing. So they mess around with styles from issue to issue. There are your standard like Mike Cazzola sort of look that they'll do, but yeah, they'll fuck around with the actual aesthetic every once in a while, which I appreciate. Firearms disease and other trappings of so-called progress. The hippie teacher is probably my favorite side character in Beavis and Butt-Head. Besides with his dad Todd, this fucking douche. Every time I see this Todd guy, he reminds me of let me see if I can find it here. He like reminds me of the dude from like the Off covers. The Off album that they put out, not the most recent one, but the one previous to Free LSD. I can't remember what the name of it is. But yeah, it has like a dude on it with like a surfboard. Just reminds me of Todd, and every time I see it, is what it reminds me of, is this guy. Hand hurts. The fingy. That, the dog did not like me. Another Mallrats ad. Man, Kevin Smith is paying it, but from what I remember, this movie completely fucking bombed, and now it's like a cult classic, obviously, and the comics that they put out for that are actually pretty rare to find. You don't see them very often, but they did make those Mallrats issues that are in the like the beginning credits of the movie. Those are real comics, actually, that they had produced. Some good old fan art stuff here. Every once in a while, I'll go back and like search up these people just to kind of see where they're at, especially ones that have like good to decent drawings. Like this one here isn't terrible, and neither is this one. I mean, the cartooning in it's not bad. But just to kind of see like if these people ever ended up actually being artists and stuff. And every once in a while you do see them, but these people typically fall off the face of the planet, right? Or you just can't find them. So I think I've seen these floating around every once in a while, like these Spunko comic books, which is the Ren and Stimpy series, which is kind of interesting because you would think that Spunko having their own comic line, they would have put out their own comic for their own cartoon, but I would assume that Marvel probably just had the license there, or you know, Viacom was carrying was the license owner at that point. Bunch of weird shit happened with that dude John Christmas or whatever his name is. This is from '95, so it is getting towards like the tail end of that stuff. So love the Marvel Masterpiece stuff. All right, Beavis and Butt-Head number 23. So this is a radio cassette. That's interesting. There's a straight up rock record about a road trip of Ren and Stimpy. That is just strange. Alright, let's just double check. I guarantee you it's the same. Yeah. Same team. Man, I would even judge to say that I might even put Rick Parker, like, up on a top 10 guy for me, possibly. I just love his cartooning. These fucking CD-ROM comic books were hot during that time. I kind of miss, like, those old CD-ROMs that you'd be able to get, like your Backyard Baseballs and Carmen San Diego's and all that kind of stuff. Wow, dude, the ads in these books are pretty good, though. About to change the game right here. Incredible stuff, man. Give and Go? I've never even heard of this before. Or is this... What the fuck is the name of this game? Is it just XXL Sports Series? Probably trying to cash in on NBA Jam, which I believe that was a Midway game. Dude back here with the Punisher t-shirt. Hell yeah. Every once in a while, when Rick Parker draws women, he gives them, like, rubber hair. Because there's, like, no texture in it. That's always kind of bothered me for some reason. And, like, just the dead face. It's very strange looking. Women are hard to fucking draw, man. I'm not gonna put any doubt on that. But just doing the two little nostrils without actually having, like, a bridge on the nose, that doesn't work for me, boss. Like, we gotta draw some more of a nose there. I just think it looks weird. Especially when you have, like, guys like this, like Beavis and Butt-Head, that are more, like... They're more detailed, they have more lines on them. Especially, like, the beards and stuff like that. Then you just get over here on the female characters, and there's, like, no detail at all. Well, I got a little bit more on this one. But still, I think the principle kind of stays the same there. While they're hawking the Toy Story stuff already, man. And so this came out January of '96, and Toy Story doesn't come out till, like, I think it said, what, November? Let's go back to that Toy Story ad. Yeah, they're already advertising for that shit fucking 8 months out. That's insane. But I mean, I understand that it was a big deal that this movie was coming out, but you would think, like, 8 months out. That's a long lead time. The movie changed it, though. Changed the game. So funny. Jesus. This is actually pretty good. Man, this is a cool logo, though. fuck with that logo. The worm. Terrible stuff. Absolutely terrible. I'm sure, like most of you, they're gonna go back and watch this in the replay. That gun is just massive in this dude's hand. It's like he's the mask, like pulling out like a, or looks like the gun for man, I'm blanking on what the hell the name of it. Roger Rabbit. It's a fucking big ass cartoon gun. I said the comic book industry is really taking a dive here, and this is early 95, and like I think 96 is when it just finally crashed, and you could start seeing the downfall here pretty early just with stuff like this, because they have to band together to kind of try to keep the doors open. I believe I've played this before, and from what I remember, this isn't bad. Most of the Beavis and Butt-Head games are pretty terrible. They're not... I'm trying to remember... Yeah, I think this is like the one that's not bad. Like the NES games, I think there might be NES games, or certainly Super Nintendo games. They're not very good, but not bad. Virtual stupidity. Alright. Now we're going to pop in here to some Beavis and Butt-Head. This is going to be 41. So this is a later issue. This is April of 96, and I want to say they did like 53 issues for this. I have it in my phone, but my phone's not in here. I was gonna take a look to see where that was at, but oh well. But like I said, I think it's like, oh no, my phone's right here. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna take a look here real quick and see where we're at, because that's going to bother me. Let's see your comics. Ren and Stimpy. There are 43 issues, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 specials that they did, so I guess there's 49 issues in total. So this is 2 before they stopped it on the actual main run. Terry Collins, Gary Fields, Ed Laz, Brad Joyce. Yeah, I don't think any of these people had worked on the book previously. At least I don't recognize any of their names. Spider-Ham, Count Chocula, Rasta Pasta, Yak Milk, Bison Stew, Yak Chili. They got a 69 back here. Of course they did. This music is pumping though, isn't it? I'm gonna turn this shit down. Man, this comic looks strange compared to like the earlier issues. You can tell that, I want to say that towards the beginning of the comic that they were actually hand drawing everything, and then they had moved into digital at one point. This is definitely digital. It's pretty obvious. It's not a bad digital job, I don't think, but it's pretty clear as day. Like especially like this, like these human-esque characters, they look strange. The Ren and Snippy stuff is kind of a pain in the ass to find too, especially these later issues. And obviously it ran way longer than the Beavis and Butthead stuff. But I just think that people just hold on to this. And usually with the Beavis and Butthead or the Ren and Snippy stuff, you see like issues like 1 especially you see floating around a lot. But 1 through 10, I want to say you see a lot. Like you see a lot of the one with like the bubblegum monster on it. That's kind of like an homage to Jack Kirby. Yeah, man, it's just different art team here on this one, so they're really cranking these things out. But you ask, like, hey, how do you get one of these comics done in a month? And it's like you throw fucking 20 people onto a comic to get it done. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. Here's another Virtual Stupidity ad. Alright, so that was Ren and Stimpy 41. I think that's probably where we're gonna wrap it up. That was the 4th issue that we had took a look at there. Let's see, gotta fix my camera. But yeah, I think that's probably where I'm gonna end up taking off here for the day. Like I said, I have to get a little bit of drawing done, but I think I'm gonna take the day off. I got injured yesterday, and it just looked ridiculous. It's just my finger, but literally like my entirety of my hand, like down. It's like killing me. I got fucking ravaged by a dog yesterday, and I almost thought that I had to get stitches, and the thing's still kind of bleeding. I had to do the old super glue trick, but who fucking knows, man. Again, feel free to head over to the website. It's just sammcclurg.com, sam/mcclurg.com. Head over to Kickstarter. Follow Sean Crystal's Kickstarter. Today's the last day for it, so make sure you get backed on it. And then Grant's Kickstarter is also up. All the links for that will be in the description if you're going to be watching this on the replay. But yeah, I hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend, has a good rest of your week. There's going to be another video going up towards the tail end of this week, Thursday, Friday, kind of be talking about the actual like process or my process of kind of putting yourself out there, self-promotion, kind of process just in general on comic book stuff. The more businessy related stuff, but that will be up. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that, and that'll be up here later in the week. But as always,